Hello friends, welcome back. Today I have picked up a topic which is, a topic that is very common. It affects our day-to-day lives, and a topic that is most of us are directly or indirectly aware of or connected with. Most of us, I should say 100%, directly or indirectly. Okay, and that is the topic that I have picked up is World Wide Web. Let's know, friends, how World Wide Web started. This is a topic which is, uh, you know, uh, there are so many aspects to this topic. This topic is not a topic which can be discussed in a short lecture because it has so many things in it. But still, then I'll try to keep it short and simple and try to tell you the gist of it. Okay, this is going to be very interesting. So let's start. See, World Wide Web, when I'm talking about internet. Very simple, which, today is something which is very common. If you go, 30 years back in history, maybe 20 years, 30 years back in history, let's say, you'll realize that, it was not this. I mean, when computers were first, people started using computers, and gradually this development started taking place. And the apart from that, network of computers started growing. This network was there till in the 80s. Network was a very popular concept. Interconnecting computers, but they were happening at a local basis, on a local basis till 1988 this was the case. Till 1988 this interconnection of computers was in a company, limited to a company which was using it, or maybe an organization which was using it. 1989, you know the name Tim Berners-Lee. He first got an idea. His idea was, why not, since the network is present, why not connect the computers around the world? Why not? Got it? So once he got this idea, he envisioned, or you can say he, conceptualized this World Wide Web, interconnection of computers. So in 1989, World Wide Web came into existence. And here in this video, I am talking about the evolution of web, from starting from 1989 till today, and in future, what will be the shape of the web, how it is going to affect our life. It is affecting our life, but in what way in future, in what way it will affect our lives in more and more areas. Got it? So let's go on with it. See, what has happened is, this World Wide Web, this evolution period wise, it is put into versions. The first version that started in 1989 was called Wave 1.0. Let's see what this is. It was a first implementation, and the period in which this was in force was 1989 to 2005. World Wide Web 1.0, W3 Consortium, World Wide Web Consortium, the organization that is responsible for upkeeping of the internet, I mean maintenance of the internet. This is the organization. This is an independent body. It's independent of any government. It's a global organization. This takes care of the internet. So what they did is they chronologically gave them versions. So now we are talking about this period 89 to 2005, in which it was called Wave 1.0. What it meant? See, this concept, this idea, the whole idea of the World Wide Web was to, first when it came up, was to share data. I have data, you have data. Too much of data is there, but why should we keep it to ourselves? Let's share it. I need some data which is not there with me. All right. So now what I can do, I can get it from you. Similarly, vice versa. I have some data which you need. That is how Web 1.0 came into force. Okay. Web 1.0, the first implementation, as I said, the period was 89 to 2005. Till this, within this time, it was implemented. Uh, you know, it was called popularly known as a read-only wave. Why was it called a read-only wave? I still remember when we saw internet, when I started using internet, it was web pages. Open the web pages, just read the contents, whatever contents are there. Okay. Um it was not possible to interact with the website. It was one directional, unidirectional. That means you are looking at the website, you are seeing the contents of the website, but there is no way you can interact with the website. This was one of the biggest drawbacks of Web 1.0. What was happening was there is something called web hosting. There were companies which were providing with internet service. Now, if I am someone who want to host a website, what I will do? I will design the website, keep static pages in that, design a cover page, which is also known as the home page. When somebody visits the website, the first page that comes up, it is called a home page. Okay, that I will design. The entire design I will make. Then either I will host it on a server which has to be on all the time, which has to be in ready mode all the time so that people can access it. If it is switched up at any point of time, the website is inaccessible. This is what was Web 1.0. Okay, we used to visit website. From there, hyperlinks will be there. Click on the links, it will give you materials. Go through the materials. You want to copy something or download something, you can do that, but limited. All right, it was very limited. Uh, this first version, basically you can say it was a trial version, but it instantly became popular because of information sharing. Okay, you could know things which you are knowing from a book. You have to buy a book and know certain things. Now a website comes up giving you, suppose I pick up a particular topic, uh, let's say discrete math. Now discrete math, earlier what happened, I want to learn discrete math, so I have to buy books or go to a tutor and learn it from him. Okay. Now what happened, due to World Wide Web, due to internet, suppose there is a website which is giving me chapter wise all the discrete math problems, all the discrete math topics with problem solution, everything is there on the website. I can simply visit the website and start accessing. Got it? So it was basically, as I said, unidirectional and read only. This was the problem. Okay. uh, the major characteristic, if I can sum it up, was only read only content. uh, Online you have to be, as I said, if you are you are hosting a website, if you are the owner of the website, you have to be online all the time. Your server should be off all the time so that it is accessible to people can see it. Or else there is a facility, as I said, web hosting. What happens, your entire content you give to a hosting service provider, he will keep it on the server. His server will be on 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. All right. And anyone who wants to see the contents of the website can. All right. So this was the thing. Static web pages, as I said, using hypertext markup language, HTML, popularly known as. This was HTML. Now that point of time, it was only HTML, and there was something called cascading style sheet, CSS, which I think most of you are aware of. All right. Using this, the web pages were designed. All right. The entire website was designed, and that was hosted on the server. Got this? Now, what was the limitation? The major limitation was, of course, you understand, read-only contents. All right. Uh, uh, Only you know, a human can understand the language, because most of the websites were based on English language initially. Apart from that, regional languages, yeah, all these started coming, but it was all English, so it was only understood by humans. Okay. uh, it cannot be understood. Now, mark my words over here. It cannot be understood by a machine. Can it be? No. It was only readable, so it is understood by only human. Person who is reading, person who knows the language. Got it? Now, apart from that, uh, the webmaster, the person who, I mean, taking care of the website, he is responsible for managing the content of the website. Okay? He is the only person, sole person responsible. This was another limitation. Now, you and I can't interfere in that. The webmaster will do that. If a page has to be taken off, he will take it off. If a page has to be included, he will include. So he is responsible, completely responsible. Apart from that, dynamic representation was not there. There was nothing called dynamic representation. Only static information. Only static information was available. Okay. You cannot, simply you cannot, because it was one way unidirectional read only content. So this was when wave 1.0. But imagine, 1989 to 2005, almost 2005. So the lifespan was almost 15 to 16 years, till the time the second version of the wave came into existence gradually within this last 2 3 years, starting from 2003 to 2005. Gradually changes started happening. So 2006 onward, W3 consortium, which I mentioned just sometimes back, World Wide Web Consortium, they started giving it another name. They gave it another name. They said, okay, now since this has changed, let's name it as Wave 2.0, version 2.0. The new version came out. What were the changes? What was so special about Web 2.0? Web 2.0, the second generation, in 2004, basically it was defined. A person called Dale Doughty, he coined this. I'm sorry, he envisioned it. Okay, he defined it in 2004. Uh, he said it will be a read-write web. All right, look at the major shift in focus. It was a read-only web. Now this is a read-write web. Web 2.0. Web 2.0, the concept, okay, uh, was to make it read as well as write oriented. The concept. Got it? Now, Web 2.0, was hugely popular within a very short span of time. Because till that time, people were used to seeing only static web pages. Now something dynamic came up. Okay? You can interact with the server. You were interacting, but what you were doing, it was one directional. You were just seeing pages. Now what you can do, you can ask a question, get a response from the server. Got my point? So Web 2.0, what it facilitates, basically what facilities does it give? Participatory, collaborative and distributed practice. What does that mean? I can participate, I can collaborate with others. Okay. And distributed practice means what? I can exchange things, I can exchange information with one another person. So now World Wide Web became a family. It was just a crowd watching something, like it is a match going on, you are watching it. Cricket match going on, you are watching it. So it's what, players are playing, you are just watching them. Okay. Now what happened? World Wide Web is there, you are participating in World Wide Web, as well as you are interacting with each other, you are exchanging information with each other, you are exchanging data with each other. Getting my point? So this became collaborative, this became participative. Got it? And as I said, it became instantly popular. What are the characteristics of Web 2.0 as compared to Web 1.0? Because we talked about Web 1.0, we said these were the characteristics. Web 2.0, uh, technology, first thing, technology characteristics, technical characteristics, which you rather say, it has become a platform with software above single device. Okay, for example, when Web 2.0 came into existence, by that time mobile technology was there, already there. It was gradually becoming popular. So now this was not limited to only a computer. What? Net access, internet access, accessing the World Wide Web. It was not limited now only to a computer, as I said. Now it can be, it is, to put it into single terms, single device you are using till Web 1.0, single device, that is your computer only, on which you can access the internet. Now a time came when single device was converted into multiple devices. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on iPod, pods, you can do it. Okay, so number of devices through which internet can be accessed was increased, or you can say changed. All right, it became more business centric. Since it became interactive, it became collaborative, it became more business centric. Now, companies, earlier, what was happening? A big company, it has a website only. You see the products, you see the catalogs, you know the characteristics of the product, that's it. Now, you can see the product, you can click on the product, know the details, you can recommend something to the company also, interactive. So it became more business centric, obviously. Okay. Uh, it brought together software and business, you can say so. Okay, it brought together software as well as business. uh, uh, Now businesses started moving to the internet platform. Earlier what was happening is, you know if it is a medium size business, it was not that because see, hosting web, in case of Web 1.0, hosting a website, as I said, it has to be always online. I mean, you need to, what you say, host it, or else you need to establish a server to host it. Whatever it is, it was costly affair. Web 2.0, gradually things started becoming cheaper, and this interactive part made that your product will reach more customers. You will get the feedback to improve your, you don't have to go to the doorstep of the customer, you don't have to talk to the customer directly. Or what was happening earlier, they used to send a team of people who will come for a survey saying, are you using X product? Okay, what are the characteristics, how it looks, how it feels, what improvements should be there, what you suggest, all this. Now they don't have to do that. If the website is there, if they are asking for a feedback, the consumer can give a feedback. The consumer can suggest. The consumer can rate the product. So it became more business centric. This was one of the, again, another major characteristic which came up with Web 2.0. Okay. Now the contents became more user centric. All right. Earlier it was what? Static content. So whoever is developing it, it is centered around him. Whatever he wants, he or she will keep it on that website. If I am designing a website of mine, whatever contents I like, I'll put it. Very simple. Now this became more uh, user centric. How? Because of something called social web. And friends, Web 2.0, some people, popularly, it is a term which is popularly used. They call it Web 2.0, they call it the social web, because social networking started from here. Okay, through very popular companies like Facebook. Okay, one example, just imagine what Facebook did. It brought us together. I can share I can give my feedback, I can tag people, I can comment, all these things I can do. Interactive. All right. So that is the reason it was called social work. Okay. Um, you know, communities, community building happened. Say doctors community, let's say engineers community, this is scholars community. Due to social networking, this community started getting established, and it became, you know, very important in a very short span of time. Just imagine, engineers communicating with each other in a group, in a particular platform, on a particular platform. All right, answering each other's queries, discussing each other's problem. This is what Web 2.0 brought. Got it? So these were the major characteristics changes that Web 2.0 brought. Social networking is one of the major things. Okay, and you and I, both of us know how important this social networking is. Clear? It had its own limitations also. Web 2.0. Okay. Mm, uh, one such thing is the expectation increases. What happened? We said dynamic web pages. We said the contents keep on changing. Okay, we based on feedback from the customer switching. So now what happened? People started expecting that the contents will keep on changing very regularly. So it brings what? It brings additional burden, no? Constant constant iteration looping, constant iterating cycle in which the changes, the product, the services has to change. Okay, and people are expecting it, mind it, since it is dynamic. Getting it? So this puts unnecessary burden on the website. This puts unnecessary burden on the people who are associated with website. It has its flip side as well as a flop side. Okay, ethical issues. This is something which came up. Ethical issues are, issues which, I mean, sometimes blown out of proportion. Sometimes these issues become very what you say, sensitive. These issues also came up, ethical issues. uh, Now, one limitation I can say, I can think of as a user, I can think of, still interconnectivity. I'm talking about interconnectivity and knowledge sharing. Okay. But it is still limited. I mean, it is still in a stage, in a stage where it is still progressing, still making progress. So it will take time. It will take time. Got it? But Web 2.0 is something which has changed the way we look at World Wide Web. Got it? This Web 2.0, as we discussed, the limitations which is there with Web 2.0, the way it functions, okay, uh, the characteristics, okay, 2.0, all these things, okay, uh, you know, these changes which are implemented, these changes which are incorporated, they are for mankind. Remember this. Okay. Now, any kind of changes which is happening has to be for the mankind. Obvious enough. Okay. Uh, Reusability. I mean, reusing things. As I said, huge amount of data is there. This need to be reused. Okay. It's not that I only use the data, nobody else. No, shared, used among people. So, it benefits everyone. Got it? This is how Web 2.0 is. Okay. Now, according to an estimate, if you look at Web 1.0 and compare it with Web 2.0, this is a small comparison, but this is a bit interesting. Okay. If I look at Web 1.0, let's pick up a year 96. Okay, as an example. Okay, Web 1.0, how many sites were there? Static web pages. Guess it. There were around 250,000 websites. Okay, 2,50,000 and the year 96. Got it? How many global users throughout the world? Now this is a piece of data information which I have gathered from W3 Consortium. Okay, World Wide Web Consortium. You can go to the website, you can find this piece of information over there. But this was interesting, that's why I'm discussing it with you. Okay, how many users globally? How many users? 45 million users. All right, how many? 45 million. So remember these two things: 2,50,000 plus websites and 45 million users. Okay, now come to Web 2.0. How many users? First of all, guess it. 8 crore users. 8 crore, 800 lakh users. Year 2006, the jump to Web 2.0. Web 2.0, the jump that happened in 2006 when it was named. Then this statistics was taken out. The number of users, as I said, how many? Number of websites were around. I'm sorry, I mixed it up a bit. Please bear with it. 8 crore websites were there. I'm sorry, 8 crore websites. Okay, and users, yes, it was 1 billion plus, and this is an official estimate, not counting indirect users, not counting those users who access it every now and then. We are just looking at regular users and giving the statistics. That is how many? 1 billion plus. This is a brief comparison between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. Got it? It's very interesting. If you get into World Wide Web Consortium's website, you'll find all this information, and these things are informative, as well as you'll know how these changes are affecting us in our daily life also. Okay. Then came Web 3.0. Web 3.0 came a bit late. I'll discuss it in my next video with you. Web Today's topic, we have discussed Web 1.0, Web 2.0. Web 3.0, it's a bit, you can say it's a bit more, the contents are a bit more. It will take a bit more time. Web 3.0 will discuss it with you. And today, when you are using the web, you are using Web 3.0, and we are moving towards the next version, that is Web 4.0. I'm sorry. Got it? So we'll be discussing that also. Web 4.0, what it stores, okay, what it has in it. So we'll move to the when we move to that, we'll discuss that. Okay, friends. Now I hope I've given you a bit of information about. I'll not say much information because it's too much. It cannot be discussed, as I said, within 20-30 minutes. So this was just to tell you the basic difference between Web 1.0 and 2.0, and tell you what are the major things that happened when Web 2.0 came out. Got it? In my next video, I'll discuss with you about Web 3.0 and the higher versions. As I said, Web 3.0 is a bit more comprehensive. A bit more lengthy. The concepts are a bit more, need to be discussed in bit more detail. So I'll do that with you. I'll discuss it with you. Till that time, friends, once again, the three things, okay, as I've told you in all my videos, please do share my contents, please do subscribe to my channel, and please press the like button. Because once I see this, I feel really, really excited to share these things with you. All right. And one more thing, please leave your comments in that section. Friends, so many of you comment, but those who are friends with me on Facebook, or maybe on my WhatsApp contact list, those people are giving comments over there. Please, friends, I request you give your comments in the video itself. It will immensely help me, believe me. Okay. So friends, take care. Till the next video, bye bye from me.